Well, good afternoon. Welcome to another Lunch and Learn webinar from PS Tech. And if you're watching on catch up, welcome wherever it is that you're watching from. So just a little note about these presentations that we do on a regular basis. They are just that, presentations. They're designed to help you get the most from your IT services and subscriptions that you have. So because of that, we won't be taking any questions live during the webinar. But if you want to use the Q&A feature in Zoom, you can raise a question there and we'll get back to you straight after the webinar has concluded. If you're watching on catch up, leave us a comment and we will get back to you. So I'm Paul Stanier. I'm the founder and one of the directors here at PS Tech. PS Tech helps small to medium-sized businesses with their IT and cybersecurity. Now, if you're not sure where to start with your cybersecurity, because it's a complicated topic, you'll be pleased to know that we've published a very easy to read guide. It's called the 2024 Guide to Good Cybersecurity. So if you would like a copy sent to you, reach out to us at pstechnology.co.uk. And for those watching on YouTube, we'll paste a downloadable link in the description. Now, today we're going to be continuing to learn about Microsoft 365 and the many, many tools that are provided within this subscription. Today, we're going to be focusing on the new Outlook. Now, Outlook, as we know it, has been renamed to Outlook Classic. And you may have been seeing some prompts on your screen about switching and trying the new Outlook, which will eventually become just Outlook. So we're going to jump into a live demonstration now to start looking at this new tool. I'm going to share my screen with you. So you're looking at my virtual computer here, and you're thinking, hang on, this looks like the old Outlook, and you will be correct. This is Outlook Classic. So how do you know you're using Outlook Classic? Well, in your start menu in Windows, depending upon what the icon is you clicked on, it will either be Outlook Classic or Outlook New. And you'll see there's a subtle difference there between the icons that are in your start menu. You'll find it by going to All Apps, scrolling down to O in the Start Apps in the list here, and you'll see Outlook Classic and Outlook New. You can pin those to your start menu like I've done, or you can pin those to your taskbar. So how do you try out the new Outlook? Well, you'd think it would be a case of just clicking the icon in the start menu, but you do need to switch, and it's a very simple process. In the Classic Outlook, you've got a little link here in the top right corner. Try the new Outlook. Let's click that now, and we're going to go to click Switch. Now, while you're watching this, I suggest you don't do this while you're following on. Watch the webinar in full before you decide whether you want to try the new Outlook out or not. So here we are. Here is the new interface. It is very subtly similar to Outlook Classic. We've got our folders on the left-hand side, our application shortcuts here, our content in the middle, and our reading pane on the right-hand side. Now, how do we make this look a little bit more like the old Outlook? Well, Microsoft have given us some functions that we can use to do that. So firstly, I just want to show you some of the interface here and what you can tweak to make it more comfortable for your day-to-day use. Let's start off with the ribbon bar at the top here. So we're looking here at what's called the Classic ribbon. Now, when you actually start and switch to the new Outlook, you'll actually start with the simplified ribbon, but I've been tweaking in this for preparing for today. This is the new simplified ribbon. And there are a number of buttons that appear on here contextually. If I click on an email, some of the buttons light up. Now you can customize the simplified menu. You just click the little three dots here in the top right, choose customize in the menu, and you'll see here things that you can enable and disable and grouping buttons together and so forth. And we're going to spend a lot of time in there today. You can also change the toolbar to what is called the Classic toolbar. And that's very simple. Rather than clicking the three dots, what we're going to do, we're going to click this tiny little arrow here in the bottom right and choose the Classic ribbon. And this looks a little bit more now like the Classic Outlook that you are used to. Now, you'll notice there's a lot of space around everything. There's a lot more unused space on the screen. It makes the application feel fresh and easy to use. Now, you can change that spacing by going to the View tab, and you can do this on the simplified ribbon as well. And we've got here a feature called Density. Now, if I click on Density, you'll notice we've got three options: roomy, cozy, and compact. So this is the roomy option, lots of space. Let's choose cozy, and you'll see that the font gets a little bit smaller and things get a little bit closer together. If I click on Density again, I can choose compact, And you'll notice now, like my folders here are in quite a small font and so on. This is very much like Outlook Classic. So you can change that on the fly, and it has no influence really over just the view and nothing else within the application. Let's have a look at what's going on here in the View tab while we're here. So you'll notice there's a View Settings button. We have that in the classic Outlook where you can configure certain views for certain purposes. We've got the conversation button here. So right now, conversation view is turned on. I can tell that because next to my email here from Bob Harris, I've got a little arrow. And when I click on the arrow to expand it, you'll see that there's Bob's original email and there was a reply that I sent to him. And I'll get a little flag here to tell me that's in the sent items folder rather than here in the inbox. Now, you might not want to see your emails in conversation view. Not everybody likes this. So you can turn that off by clicking on the conversation button. And you've got two choices: group into conversations, which is currently ticked, or show each message separately. So let's change the view. Okay, so now you'll see I've got my email from Bob here. When I click on that, I just have the email from Bob, and I get a little banner to say that I did reply. So you may prefer conversation view, which is more akin to using email on a mobile device, or you may prefer it where you see individual emails rather than having to expand them out. You've got the message preview option here. Now, this basically turns on the little text that you get here in the inbox to show you the first line of text that is in the email. So if I hide the preview text, again, it makes things more compact again, and we just see the sender name and the subject. So that's something you can change. There's a zoom option here and a sync option. Let's now just look at the folder pane option. So the folder pane is this pane on the left-hand side here. And at the moment, the folder pane is showing. You can hide it, like so, to remove the folders, or you can show it. It's a toggle. You'll also notice there's a show favorites and hide favorites. So favorites are these little shortcuts that appear above your mailbox name. So we've got a couple of favorites there already by default, our inbox and our sent items. So you can turn the favorites on, or you can hide the favorites, again, depending upon how much information you want showing on the screen at any point in time. We've also got the reading pane. So the reading pane is this area here on the right-hand side. Now, you may not like it on the right-hand side. It is built for a widescreen display, which most laptops and computers have now. Some people do operate their screens in portrait view, though, or on a smaller screen. So with the reading pane, you can either show it on the right, you can show it on the bottom. So we see our email appearing here at the bottom, but our view here of our inbox is now greatly reduced. Or you can even turn the reading pane off altogether. So that may, depending upon the device type that you're using, you may want to fiddle with that. Okay, let's put that back to showing on the right. And finally, a new button, we have My Day. Now, My Day is hidden by default, but you can turn it on. And when you turn it on, a little bit similar to what you see in Outlook Classic, you'll get a summary of today's activities, meetings, events, and so on. Outlook Classic would show you your tasks underneath that if you enable that, and people. But in here, we have calendar and we have to do. Now, we did a webinar not too long ago about Microsoft To Do, how you can use that. We'll try something in there in just a moment. You can hide that by, again, going back to My Day and clicking Hide. You can also pop the My Day view out very quickly. At the top of the Outlook interface here is the My Day shortcut. When you click on that, it appears also. And you can close it here with the X, or you can pop it out in the Microsoft To Do app, which you do need to have installed. I have that running down here, you'll see as well. Okay, well, let's look at some of the new features that are inside New Outlook. So I'm going to close my To Do view just to keep things tidy. So there's a feature now where you can pin an email to the top of your inbox. And that's in addition to the flag feature, which you might be familiar with. So I can right-click any email here. So let's take this one down here. These are all junk emails for the purpose of demonstration. But I can right-click on this email and I can pin it. So if I click on pin, you'll notice that the email has now moved to the top of the list. And let's pin something else. I'm going to pin this one here. And again, that's been moved to the top of the list. Now I can scroll and I lose those pinned items, but when I get back to the top again, there they are. So this is one way that you can surface emails that you want to get back to quickly, or it may contain some pertinent information that you need to keep finding in the inbox. So that's one way that you can do that, is by pinning. You can unpin easily. You can right-click the email and you can click unpin, and that will move it back to its original position in the inbox. Or you can just click on the pin icon here, which will unpin as well. And again, it's returned the email to its original position there in the inbox. Now, with something else that we can do, we talked about flags. So let's take that one of these emails again, and we're going to flag the email. So I can right-click an email and choose flag. Now, the flag feature was in the original classic Outlook. And when you flag it, you can flag the email to, I need to have a start and due date of today, tomorrow, this week, next week, no date, or you can customize that. Let's just say today. Now, when you flag the email, it doesn't move the email to the top of the list like it does when you pin, but you do see the little red flag here. So we've flagged the email here. Now, when we flag an email, let's open up our My Day view again. And you'll notice here, I'm in the to-do view, and I have got selected here flagged emails. Now, I can click there, and I can choose my tasks from my to-do. I can choose my day. I can choose other to-do lists that are in to-do. But flagged emails is the list that we are interested in. Now, if I separately open up Microsoft To-Do here, let me do that down the bottom here. I've got it open. This is Microsoft To Do. If I click on flagged emails, you'll see here there are some emails that were previously flagged and completed, but this one, Dance, is not. It's showing, it's not being completed. Now we can tick that in here, or we can tick that over here inside Outlook, and that will mark the email as complete, and the flag changes, as you can see, to a nice little green tick for us. Now that's another way you can make yourself more efficient, is using flags. You can also use categories. Now, you'll see here, I've got an email here from Bob Harris that's actually got this word Project X lit up in green here. I've jumped the gun a little bit. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to uncategorize that email. Okay. So I've got an email here from Bob. He wants to push today's meeting. It's related to a project meeting that we've got going on later today. Okay. So I can use categories to tag this email as such with a particular category, so that I can then later on find other emails with the same tag, or calendar entries, or contacts, and they can all be tagged in the same way. So let's right click on the email here. I'm going to choose categorize. Now I'm being shown a number of categories that I've previously created. If I go into manage categories, you'll see here these are the same list of categories. You can create your own categories. Categories can be really used for any sort of purpose whatsoever. It could be a way of categorizing email, as we've got here. We've got meetings, newsletters, personal emails, project related. It could be to do with department type things within your business, or anything else in particular. You don't have to have one strategy. You can have multiples. You can create your own categories. Now, in the new Outlook, compared to the old Outlook, you get a lot more choice of different color variants. In the old Outlook was quite limited. So you can create a category here. Let's just call this company lunches. It's a common theme that I talk about in these webinars, and I can save that category, and that category's there been saved, and Outlook's picked a color for me. Now I can change that color by clicking the pencil and just choosing a different color and saving that. Okay, so there's my new category. But I can favorite a category, which I couldn't do before in the old Outlook. So let's take Project X here. I'm going to make Project X a favorite category. Now I can click it here, or when I'm creating the category, I can click the star here as well. Let's do that and click save, and you'll see that the star is lit up. Let's now close this window. And what you'll notice now, if I now categorize this email with Project X, one of two things, actually one thing's already happened. You'll notice Project X is now appearing in my favorites up here because I clicked that star to make it a favorite category. And now when I click on Project X to categorize this email from Bob, not only do I get a colored tag within my inbox view and within the email here, but if I click on Project X, you'll see here, actually, there are two emails now inside my favorite. So this is acting like a filter. Now you'll see that this email is in sent items and this email is in inbox. So no matter where you save your email, so long as you've categorized that email, you can use the favorite up here to show you a filtered view of those categorized emails. That is a fantastic feature. And with the extra colors that are available now, gives you real flexibility in sorting your data and searching for it. Now, talking of searching, let's go back to inbox. I can also search for emails in that category using the search box at the top of the screen here. So if I click into search, I'm going to type in Project X, and you'll see after some suggestions here at the bottom of the list are some suggested categories. So I could actually search for lunch, and I've got company lunches up here, which I did a moment ago. So if I search for Project X, because we didn't actually categorize anything with company lunch, I'm going to search for Project X. That's now found emails relating to Project X. And now I get some filters. I can look for emails that have attachments, whether they're unread or not, whether they were sent to me, whether they mentioned me, whether they're flagged, and so forth. Really powerful stuff. To get out of the search view, just click on the little left arrow here next to your search result, and that exits the search function. Another new feature in the new Outlook is the snooze feature, and that's not you snoozing, it's snoozing emails. And the purpose of that is you can push an email off to another date and time, so it's not cluttering up your view. What a fantastic idea. Let's use an example here. We'll pick this dance email. I'm going to right click on it and I'm going to say snooze. Now, when I hover over snooze, you'll see that I get some predetermined options here, later today, this evening, tomorrow, etc. Or I can choose a date. Now, let's say this email doesn't need to be dealt with for a few weeks. I've been notified my insurance is going to renew in 30 days. I don't need to deal with it now, but I might want to deal with it in a couple of weeks' time. So I can push this email, for example, to the 24th, a week's time, and I'll snooze that until 9:30. Now, what happens is that email here, the dance email, if you can see that, when I click save, disappears from view. Where has it gone? Well, there's a new folder now. On the left here, we've got snoozed. If I click into snoozed, there's the email there, and you'll see the little clock icon there and the 24th for the 10th. That email will resurface in my inbox on that date and that time as an unread message, and that will tell me then that I need to deal with that email. So that's another way of keeping your inbox clear. And there's one final thing I'm going to show you about keeping your inbox clear. Let's go back to the inbox. So we've got a lot of emails here from Marketing Brew and the Tilt. It may be actually, I just want to sweep these out of the way for the moment. I haven't got the capacity to deal with them. They're newsletters. I might choose to read them later on. So there is a new function in the new Outlook called Sweep. It's on the toolbar, the home toolbar. Click on Sweep, and we get here basically a wizard to walk us through creating a sweep rule. So we can move all messages from this sender here, from the inbox folder. I can choose, that does it in one go, one time only. Or I can move all messages from the inbox and any future messages. Now that could prove quite useful. Or I could always keep the latest message and move the rest from the inbox. So it's like a continuous rule that's running. Only the latest email here from this sender will ever appear in my inbox. Or I can just move emails that are older than so many days. So if you do get a lot of notifications or newsletters and things like that, this is a fantastic feature to keep the most up-to-date information in your inbox. You may not have time to read it, you may not need to read it, but you want to keep it and search for it later. So the sweep rule will allow you to keep the latest message or the latest messages from the last 10 days in your inbox. So I'm going to choose the one above here and move to, I want to keep them, I'm going to move this to a different folder. I'm going to move it to newsletters under my inbox here. And you can see that there under the inbox. And move it to newsletters. So we should end up with only one email from this sender here inside my inbox. Let's click OK. You'll see the inbox cleared there. And success, you'll only see the latest message from the sender. We're working on cleaning up your mailbox. It's a continuous rule that runs all the time. OK. Let's click OK there. And I can do the same here. You'll see Marketing Brew doesn't appear anywhere else now. Let's do the same with this one here from the Tilt. So I click on Sweep on the toolbar, always keep the latest, move it to newsletters, and click OK. Oh, my mailbox is looking better already, isn't it? Now, if I click on the newsletters folder here, you'll see there's all the emails. They haven't gone anywhere. They're showing as unread still. You might want to set a rule to mark them as read when they appear in there. But you can see that the simplicity of this feature. Okay, so hopefully you found that very useful. So I'm going to now show you something else with regards to what you can do with emails and your calendar. So if I scroll back up, go back to inbox here. So I've got an email here. Let's say, for example, here, this email here from Safetika. I want to create a meeting. Let's say, hypothetically, this was from somebody that we actually knew. I can use this email in my inbox to create an event in my calendar. So on the My Day view here on the right-hand side here, I need to make sure that I'm in the calendar view, okay? And now I can take an email and I can just drag it straight over here. And you'll see here it says that add as an event or add as a task. So I want to add this as an event. So I let go of the email here. And what will happen is we'll get a pop-up view here where we can configure a meeting regarding this email that we have received. So it might be an email you've received from a customer or supplier, and you'd like to have a Teams chat with them about that. So we can see here we've got our meeting subject. It's set up to be a Teams meeting. It's going to include the email sender who sent me the email. This is obviously a marketing email, so we won't actually save this. If I close that and I include Bob, for example, in my organization here, I can now specify the date and the time of the meeting as well. And I can also click Find Time. So it will show me suggested times when me and Bob are both free as well. So this will look at both of our calendars internally to show us time that we can create this meeting. When I'm happy with that, I can click Send. You'll notice another new feature here as well before I close this is the in-person event button as well. So you don't have to create blank events and assume that people know it's in person. There is the option here to toggle it and make that an in-person meeting so that Teams doesn't get too involved in things. Okay, so we can do that exactly the same as well. We can just discard that. You can drag an email to the bar and add it as a task to do later. And it's created this task here, which I can now edit the wording of this like so. And that will now appear inside my to-do view or task view here and prompt me to action this later on. Okay, so hopefully you found that information very useful as well. So if you're watching this on catch up and you're liking this content, you can visit our YouTube channel at PS Tech MSP, where you can subscribe, like, and comment on our previous webinars. So you'll find the shortcut to that on our homepage of our website as well. Let me show you some information now around composing emails, replying to emails, forwarding, and so on. Firstly, I want to show you some settings. So how do we get into settings? Let's just close the to-do view here. The settings button is here up in the top right. Let's click on that. Now, first, straight away here in the settings window, you'll see we've got the different accounts that we've got added to Outlook. So you can add extra accounts from here. You can also configure your auto replies for your different accounts from here as well. So currently my auto replies are off. I can turn them on. I can schedule when they will start and when they will finish. I can also block my calendar out here, decline new invitations, and cancel any meetings sent to me during this period. I can include a message for inside my organization, and I can also send a separate message to people outside my organization as well. You must remember to click the save button at the bottom there when you make changes to keep those changes. If you don't, or click discard, it will go back to how it was when you started. Let's go into the email tab that's here. I want to go into the compose and reply settings and just show you a couple of things here. So you'll notice here straight away, we've got two tick boxes here. Always show BCC. If you often blind copy people, you might want that ticked. Otherwise, let's try it. Let's just minimize this. And will it let me compose a new email? Yes, it will. So I'm composing a new email here. It pops into the right-hand side of the reading pane here. And you'll see I've got to, copy to, and blind copy to. If I click blind copy to, it expands that out. But when I have that setting that's open, always show BCC, then it will appear all the time. I can also say always show from. I'll tick that and show you that in a second. Now you notice that new email appeared on the right-hand side of the reading pane. If you prefer it like the old Outlook to pop out in a new window, you can select that here under the pop-out settings. So let's click Save. I'm now going to close settings. I'm going to discard that. And I'm going to compose another new email here like so. Now it's popped into a new window. I've got my blind copy field available here. And I've also got the from field here. So I can send from different addresses if I've got access to multiple mailboxes or shared mailboxes. Now that's great. Now, when you're composing an email, two more new features. So if I'm sending an email here to Bob, so I'm going to put in hi, and I can put the @ symbol, Bob, and it narrows down internally from my contacts here, Bob. Now, when I click on Bob, notice the to field is currently empty. When I put this in here, it automatically includes Bob into the email distribution. But I could also include Fred as well. I must remember to put the @ symbol in. Let's include Fred, and it adds Fred for me as well. Now, that doesn't have to be at the top. That can be anywhere within the email. Now, there's something else as well, which is quite useful. If you've just been working on a file, you want to send Bob and Fred, could be the latest budget report or something like that, and you want to send them a link to it, literally just hit the / key on the keyboard, and we should get a pop-up box here with some suggestions, here we are, of some recent files we've just been working on. So I was just working on sports product. If I click on that, it will add a link to the email for Bob and Fred there to be able to access that file. Now, if you're sending externally, you want to make sure that people have got permissions to those files, and obviously be super careful sharing personal information outside of your organization. Now, my send button is up here, and if I click on the little drop down arrow next to send, I have another new feature, which is schedule send. Now, if I click on that, again, I get some predetermined options here, some suggestions, or I can customize the time. So again, I might not want this email to go out till Monday morning at 10 o'clock. So I can choose that list from here and then click send. And that email will appear in my draft folder, and I can go back and edit and change that schedule send time or the email whenever I want. Okay, we're nearly at the half-hour mark. So I just want to show you, you'll probably notice here that if you've tried the new Outlook, that the new Outlook is normally blue. Why is mine showing in orange? Well, that's because we've done some branding on our Microsoft 365 system here to show our company logo, our company colors, and so on. So super quickly, I'll show you now, if you have administrator rights to your Microsoft 365, where you can configure the branding for your business. So firstly, let me minimize the new Outlook, close to do, open my browser. So I'm signed into here, into Microsoft 365. You'll see here office.com. I'm signed in with an admin user. So I'm going to click on admin. A normal user would not see this button. Okay, so you'll notice even within the admin center, my company branding still exists here as well. Now, when you sign into Microsoft 365, let me just try this actually, office.com. I'm going to put in John's email address, which I'm just going to copy from here. There we go. And click next. Now, straight away, our branding here kicks in behind the scenes here. So we've got a company logo, we've got a background image and a banner showing as well. So where do we configure that? So within the Microsoft 365 Admin Center, you would expand this and go into Identity. Now, this takes you into what's known as Entra Identity. And from within Entra Identity, on the left-hand side here under Identity, we expand, say Show More, and we've got this tab here called User Experiences. And when I click on User Experiences, I see Company Branding. And within Company Branding, you'll see here there's a whole number of things which you can configure. If I click on the Edit button, it walks you through a simple wizard to adjust the basic layout, the general layout of the screen where pictures appear, the header, the footer, the sign-in form, and so forth. And you can review that information from there. So that's your sign-in area. You can configure the branding for web apps. The new Outlook is a web app, and you can do that back in the admin center. I'll just change back to my tabs here. Go to Settings, go to Organizational Settings, click on Organizational Profile, and you have Custom Themes. If I click on Custom Themes, when you go to here for the first time, there is no theme. So you can add a theme, and I've called mine Default Theme. Oops, let's just go back in there. So I've got Default Theme here. I can click on Logos. This is where you upload your logos and links, and you can also specify your colors and highlights and accents and so forth. There are other branding things you can do in Microsoft 365 if you're using Intune as well. So we've covered quite a lot there. What's my view? Is the new Outlook worth switching to yet? Should you switch? Honestly, give it a try, but I'd wait. There are missing features. For example, you can't open PST files. So if you have offline files of emails, it doesn't work in there yet. It's currently online only. Microsoft just announced this week some new offline features, but they're fairly basic. So if you're working offline, you're quite limited in what you can do. A simple thing which I do personally, I add shared mailboxes to my favorites list here and drag emails into those for other staff to deal with if need be. That doesn't work either. You can add some things to favorites, but not all things, and you can't always drag what you need into those. And there's many more. So how long have we got to wait until those features or something else that we might want are available? I'm going to show you one little website here, which we will put a link to in the description in the YouTube video, called the Microsoft 365 Roadmap. Now, this link here currently is showing us just the updates here for Outlook and what's currently in development. And if I just scroll down here, you'll see there are 67 features currently in development, 25 are in the process of being rolled out, and 89 have already launched. So down here, we can scroll down and see some of the things that are coming up. So here, import and export for data files. This is the PST file support, rolling out in November 25. That's over a year away. The ability to recall messages, summer 25. Is shared mailboxes as accounts, January 25. So I suggest bookmarking this page and just keeping an eye on this. You may find for some of your people or yourself, the new Outlook is perfectly fine and you're quite happy to wait for the new features. For some, there's some showstoppers there. So you'll see there's quite a lot of features that are coming out. Just very interestingly, you can change the filter in here. You can change the product. And if you're interested in what's coming out, for example, in Microsoft Copilot, which is their new AI tool, you can have a look at the roadmap for that. Or if you're interested in Microsoft Stream, where you can host videos internally for training and other purposes like recorded meetings, you can see what's coming up on that as well. So lots of products supported in here, including all the Office suite. Interestingly, Microsoft Windows is not mentioned in here, and Windows is dealt with slightly separately. So let me stop my screen share. Okay, so hopefully you'll found today's session useful, insightful as well, and I hope you will give the new Outlook a try and to start benefiting from some of those new time-saving features that are in there. But there may be some things that you find it's just not ready for me yet. That's fine. Keep an eye on that roadmap, and you'll know when those features are coming out. Now, if you'd like any help or advice with your current Microsoft 365 setup, or you're thinking about moving to Microsoft 365 and you want some expert help and advice about how to go about that, reach out to us here at PS Tech or search for me on LinkedIn, Paul Stanier, and message me there. Now, next month, what are we going to be talking about? Well, we're going to be showing you how to take notes like a pro. And our lunch and learn is going to be all about Microsoft OneNote. So I look forward to seeing you then. Thank you so much for joining and giving us your time. Take care.